Right. Merry Christmas, everybody. If you're seeing this on the Christmas day. So I was one of the fortunate few who have been invited to the Infantry closed beta test of War Thunder. I think we are about 5,000-ish, plus or minus. At the moment, a little bit less, according to the forum group. But it's about 5,000 people. And I wanted to give you my take on this as someone who, before War Thunder, was a huge Battlefield nerd. Like I played Battlefield 1942, so the original one back in the day. I was really young, and then I played a mod which was called Desert Combat, and then onwards about Battlefield 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, all the expansions, and so on and so forth. And then shortly after came War Thunder, and that stole my time from then on out. But before War Thunder, I was playing Battlefield a lot. So originally, I come from this shooter background. So just a quick first impressions video. Keep in mind this is a beta. But at the same time, I don't want to paint Gaijin in a too positive light, because I will always point out mistakes that they've made. And here's my list. So, let's start with the graphics. How does the thing even look like? It's pretty good looking. The map, we have one map, it's called Kaliningrad. Has a very nice Soviet, post-Soviet, Eastern European vibe to it. It's completely war-torn. The buildings are destroyed. There's rubble everywhere. You can see in the background footage how this looks like. There's destroyed stuff everywhere, destruction everywhere. It has a very... it looks like a city in Ukraine, to be honest, at the moment. Which is good. Second, I have, by the way, I have seen in the forum complaints about some AI-generated content, like here and there, like pictures on a wall, but I haven't seen it myself, and it doesn't affect gameplay, so I don't really care. So yeah, that's that. Then about the gameplay, how do the guns feel? So we have a set of fixed guns available. Every side has fixed guns available, like AK-12, AK-74, ASM Val, and some others. And there's also 2 fixed vehicles available. The Russians get a T-90 and BMP-3, and the Americans get a Bradley and an Abrams. So that's all we can test at the moment. How do these things feel? They feel good. That's all right. So basically, it's a more realistic approach, I think. So you can't laser with your gun. They have a massive recoil. So you have to tap fire or even switch to single fire to be effective with them. You can't just spray and pray. You're just emptying your magazine without doing any damage. So this is basically the armor approach and not the Call of Duty approach, which I like. So that is a good thing. Then the sound design. How does the battle feel in terms of sound? Is it immersive? I would say yes. Even the match, or how the map sounds, by the way. So how does the battle sound before the battle started? The background noise, like birds, wind, steps. When you step on something, how does it change? That's all very good, I think. So I have really no complaints. A very small complaint I would have is that enemy, or in general, footsteps should be a little bit louder so you can hear when somebody's approaching. Sometimes when you sit in a building, you just you get surprised. And these footsteps should be a little bit louder, I think. But it's a small thing to criticize, I guess. Next point is the match pacing. So how fast is the match going? Is it like a Call of Duty Nuketown match, or is it more like a Tarkov match, you know. And I would set this kinda in between. It is definitely not Call of Duty. You can see this in the background. How I play this, it's definitely not Call of Duty. You can play slow if you want. There's no incentive to be rushing right in. You can't slide jump. These shenanigans, that's all not possible. So it's more armor than it is Call of Duty. I would say 80% armor. That's how it feels like to me. Yeah, so if you like slower, more tactical gameplay, this is what you get. I hope the Call of Duty kiddies, the 12-year-olds with the TikTok attention span, they stay out of this, because then this whole thing will be ruined. They had so much influence on other games, like, you know, the Fortnite-ification and Call of Duty-ification of games. This has to end. I hope Gaijin does not give in to these children eventually, so I hope it stays that way. I really like that. Then, let's get to the problem list. AI bots. You can see them in the background sometimes when I turn around. They're utterly useless. I've written a couple of forum posts about them. They are like... I compared them to chaff on a plane, except chaff is useful. They're just there to suck up the enemy bullets and don't do anything, really. They just give your position away, so because where they are, you are, right? They follow you. You can give them orders, but then you have to manage them manually at all times, all the time. It's just get rid of them. I know that Oxy has said on the stream that in the finished product in RB there will be an option to turn them off somehow, but I didn't see that yet. We only can choose between AB, so arcade battles with markers, or RB, which is of which the footage is in the background. But you cannot turn off these squads. I hope Oxy didn't just misspeak, or did get wrong information. I really hope you can turn them off, or there will be a separate like mode thing to select in the future. I hate them. They don't get in your way, so I will give them that. They don't block your vision, but they're just useless. They consume, at worst, they consume any server resources. I don't know. Just get rid of them. But absolutely useless. Then, what I've noticed, when you're in buildings and look outside, there's this massive bloom and you can't see anything. I've also written a forum post about that. Battlefield 6 had the same mistake when they had their beta, and they got rid of it because players complained. This is still a thing in here. I don't know why they assume that an eye acts like a camera and has an HDR thing effect, or even anti-HDR, right? HDR would make everything balanced in terms of contrast, right? So it's like an anti-HDR effect. I don't know. Also useless. Please get rid of that. I want to be in a house looking out and see normal things. Hitboxes are another problem. I don't know if I will include this in the video to not make it too long, but there are basically obstacles which block your shots, and everything can be an obstacle. A window frame, a fence, a pipe, rubble, and everything is blocking your shots. So items, just general game items in this mode, have a giant hitbox, and sometimes they extend like 30-40 centimeters above the graphics of said object. So assuming you shoot over assuming you see enemies and you want to shoot over a pile of rubble, then it's possible that you can see the enemy, aim at them, but your bullets land in the rubble. That is massively infuriating. It happened to me multiple times in game. Also, that has been reported by me in the forum. I try to be as active as possible because then they can't say they didn't know about it. No, because I reported it. Yeah, they need to definitely change that. One thing about the gameplay I will also mention is spawn camping. So not the classic sense, because there's a massive radius around the spawn zones, which reveals enemies. So that's not the problem in itself, but the spawn camping is with helicopters. So when somebody has a helicopter, they can just hover a kilometer over the battlefield, standing still completely, and then just with the cannon, because there's an Apache and an Mi-35M on the respective sides, they can just hammer the spawn zones with their gun, with no time limit. They need to do something about that. I don't know how, because the maps are too small at the moment, I think. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they should put an anti-air battery like behind the map, behind the accessible map. So if a helicopter goes too far, it will get shot or something. I don't know. It's their job to figure that out. I just want to mention it. Next thing, the aim sensitivity cannot be adjusted at all. There is a slider in the game for movement sensitivity and aim sensitivity. That's 4 sliders, X and Y axis times 2. I've put them from 1 to 1.7-ish, especially the aim sensitivity, which is, like, I assumed that is responsible for the sensitivity when you aim down sights. But there was no change. 0 change. So these sliders don't do anything at the moment. In combination with that, you can't toggle your aim. So you have to hold the right mouse button and then shoot with the left to aim down sights. In every game, in every other game, shooter game, I toggle the aim. Right click once and then shoot with the left mouse button, right? That's how every sane person would do this, I guess, because why wouldn't you? Why would you hold down a key if you don't have to? But you can't toggle this at the moment. There is no option for that. You have to hold down the key you have set to aim down sights, to aim down the sights. Then, vehicles. So there are, as I said, vehicles in the game. I've already mentioned them, I think. So the T-90, Bradley, BMP and Abrams. This is the set. You will be having, I think, different vehicles in the future, but this is the fixed set we get right now. But they are kind of useless. Because, reason number 1, the map that we have is way too small for vehicles and it's urban. So, yeah, you wouldn't put a T-90 between 2 buildings, which have potentially like 10 people with ATGMs inside. That nobody would do that. No general would send a tank into in a city with, I don't know, 40 ATGM equipped soldiers. They are useless because of this, and the second reason is the number of ATGMs in the game, as I've mentioned. If you have a squad with your normal infantry squad, the size differs, but let's say it's about 4-5 soldiers. A normal, like a stormtrooper squad or what that's called, I don't know, with an automatic rifle. Then they have also 4 ATGMs each, with I think 4 or 5 shots each. Multiply that by the amount of actual players in the game. So I think it's 16 versus 16, correct me if I'm wrong. So that's 16 times, at worst, right? 16 times 4, and that is the amount of potential ATGMs in the game. And yeah, tell me why someone would spend their spawn points that you have earned through playing on a tank that has a lifetime of 30 seconds. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think why they did this. It's because in Enlisted, the vehicles were too strong. I think nobody can argue that. But here they have gone to the complete opposite, like 180-degree opposite, and made them too weak, because everybody can kill them. I think there should be a middle way. Let's say we take, in whatever way, we take half the ATGMs out of the game. So it's not 16 times 4 at a maximum, right? Let's say it's only one soldier of a squad can carry ATGMs. That would be enough, I think, to balance that. Then a tank would be a threat, but it wouldn't be like an uber end boss, right? Small addition to that, if you are in a tank, you have currently 16 darts and 2 HE shells. Obviously, with a dart, you can't really kill infantry, right? But infantry is the most prominent enemy. So you have 2 effective anti-infantry shots and 16 darts, but no other vehicles to shoot. Maybe you get lucky and see an enemy tank or IFV, but that is kind of rare. So it should be, if anything, it should be the other way around. It should be 2 darts and 16 HE shells. But again, I know why they did this. It's just to the other extreme. And there should be no extremes. Everything should be balanced. The tank should have a fun opportunity and kill some infantry. But then, as a revenge, the infantry should also have a go at the tank. That's how balance works. At the moment, this is not the case. I hope that covers it all. I think I worked through my notes list. I don't want to be this too long. In general, let's say a conclusion, okay? Conclusion is, if they work out these bugs, if we get larger maps, if I don't have to play house-to-house combat in the future in any match, then this has potential. I know they've copied a lot of stuff over from Enlisted, for example, these stupid AI bots. But if Oxy is right, and if we can actually turn them off, if they polish the hitboxes, if they polish the balance in terms of vehicles and all that stuff, then I don't see why this shouldn't become a success. There is a need in the market for something which is not armor, but also not Call of Duty. Now you could say, okay, there's Battlefield, but it's still very fast-paced, right? If you played the matches in Battlefield, you know it's still kind of quick. It's not Call of Duty quick. It's Call of Duty minus 20%. But there needs to be something which is Call of Duty minus 50% speed, but still is not armor. It still has some arcade elements. And I think this mode can fit this niche kind of well. If they do it right. And yeah, that is my conclusion. I'm hopeful for the future. I will continue to provide feedback on the forums in terms of bugs, but also in terms of praise when it's due. And that is it for me. I hope you have/had a nice Christmas. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.